What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I'm going to explain how I was able to complete RHD all the way up to tier 70, which wasn't an easy feat, my friends. It actually took quite a bit of gameplay, quite a bit of time, but I have completely cleared this thing all the way up to tier 70. So now I'm getting all these experience bottles every single day, including 45 level 7 experience bottles. And these two babies right here are going to be vital for whenever you EX your character, or they already have their EX available, and you're trying to push them even further to gain a lot more CP, gain a lot more damage. Getting these experience bottles is actually very valuable. Now, I've already explained kind of how RHD works, but I'll go ahead and explain it again because we're kind of focusing on RHD today. So in RHD, every single stage is going to have either an element or a typing that you're actually going to need. You're going to need a certain color and maybe even a certain typing. So, for example, right here, we need a purple team. It doesn't matter if they're attack, defense, or balance, but sometimes they're also going to specify for that. So they'll be like, you know, you need a purple team that are 3 purple attack. You need a red team that's all defense, and so on and so on and so on. So sometimes you have these little requirements, but we're actually going to show you a way to where you can actually get through this without doing it. Now, full disclosure, guys, this is not easy. It takes a lot of time. I would highly suggest that you just build teams surrounding a purple team, a blue team, a yellow team, a red team, and so on, guys. If you build teams surrounded by colors, it might be a lot easier for you, especially in the long run, because it's going to take you a long time to get to tier 70, especially if you're new to this game. So I'll show you guys the teams that I'm actually using. Oh, spoiler alert there, spoiler alert. So right now I need a purple team, okay? So the first thing that I want to give you guys a hint of is whenever you're developing your teams, you're going to want to have one character that has dot explosion, especially like any of the new Street Fighter characters are going to be godly. So Akuma for your purple team, Chun-Li for your blue team, Luke for your yellow team, or Ryu for your yellow team. Like, it's just going to be insane. And if you have one character that has that insane dot explosion, and then maybe you try to level up your other purple characters, then you're going to get extremely far in this. So your purple team is going to be super strong as long as you have one dot exploding character on your team, especially with the 5.5 times explosion. I mean, if you see this 5.5 times explosion on a character, that's going to be a terrific character to use for this. And also, guys, for your purple team, we also have 97 Orochi, who's always available in the game. So if you don't get Akuma for whatever reason, you watch this video and you're like, oh man, Akuma's gone, Street Fighter Collaboration's gone, you can always put 97 Orochi on this team. Now, when it comes to the blue team, guys, I mean, obviously, if you have Dizzy, that's going to be godly for you. Chun-Li, who's the free character, is going to be super amazing. Even if you only get the character to A2, she is so good for this. Such a powerful character. Actually, Yona has dot explosion as well. But you could use a completely different blue team if you want. I mean, you could use Rugal, obviously, BS Rugal. There's a lot of alternatives out there. The thing about BS Rugal is that he does have an EX skill available, and you can actually awaken him higher. So the higher level of awakening that you have, because they want an average awaken level of level 70 here. If you're at tier 50 in RHD, they're going to want an average awaken level of 50. So whenever your average awaken level, which is this right here, this number right here, equals to the amount that they're recommending, you're going to be able to do a lot more damage. But you're going to have a huge penalty applied if you don't. Whenever that penalty gets applied, as long as you have a giant dot exploding character, I mean, Dizzy's got 4.5 times explosion, but on 2 different skills, she is just nuts, guys. And Chun-Li is just, well, you guys know what I'm going to say, godly, right? And then you get into the green team. Well, this isn't the green team that I was actually using. Okay, so then we'll talk about the red team. Now, the red team, guys, if you got Soul Bad Guy, he's just amazing. Terry, amazing. Like, both of these characters have dot explosion, and guess what? A character that's always available in the game is Rugal. Now, Terry will come back if you aren't able to get him. He's going to be so good for this, guys. He's so insane. Also, I just want to note that you should always use dot exploding strikers, man. Dot exploding strikers that apply to all enemies is going to be a huge, when you see this to all enemies every 1 second for, 7 seconds or 10 seconds is even better. You're just going to do a lot more damage with dot strikers, because the more as dots are applied to the opponents, they're just going to start weakening them and start taking away their life. This is an amazing red team, guys. All 2 level 30s, 1 level 50. I could go all the way to tier 70 with this team. They are just insane. And again, I realize maybe some of you don't have Soul Bad Guy, but you will be able to get Terry in the future if you don't have a strong enough red, because Rugal's strong, but he's not near as strong as Terry. And then Like, this is the blue team that I actually used because it was better to have a level 67 Rugal. And then I had, level 40 and level 30 here, but I still was able to do tier 70 guys with my blue team, right? And this is the purple team that I actually went with because I actually wanted 2 characters with dot explosion. And then you have the yellow team. Now, those of you that have Ramlethal, she is so good for this because she does have dot explosion on 2 different skills, kind of like Dizzy. Not as strong as Dizzy, but still very powerful. Obviously, if you got Ryu or Luke, they are just insane for this. So if you got Luke and you don't have Ryu, you're still in good shape. If you got Ryu and you don't have Luke, you're still going to be in super good shape, guys. Even when these characters are not fully awakened. I mean, look at this team. Level 50, level 30, level 20. And I need an average awakening level 70. They could easily do it, guys. They could easily plow through tier 70 of RHD. Just insane, right? Now, here's the team that I think most players are going to struggle with, and that is your green team. And I'm going to show you guys an alternative to getting it done with, like, whenever you need all your greens and you're not able to do it. Because the thing is, right now, they gave us Chun-Li, who you get an EX skill for, and you can level her up, and you can get her awakened level to level 70. It takes a lot of time, but that is one way you can do it. I mean, if you have her at level 70, right? And then you have, Orochi here at level 70. And I know that's a huge cost, guys. He's a BS character. I mean, she's a free fest character. You can easily level her up through the game, completely free, farmable. But with BS Orochi, not so easy. It's an extremely expensive character to level up because he actually requires 10 BS memories. Well, actually, we require 7 just regular generic BS memories, and then 3 actual Orochi BS memories in order to unlock his EX skill and get him awakened. So it's a really tough one to sell as far as this one's concerned. I mean, yeah, he's going to be godly. He's going to be amazing for you, especially because he has Dot on him, and so does Chun-Li. And a lot of people aren't going to have Eno, but if you do have Eno, guys, this team worked for me with the awaken levels that I have all the way up to about tier 65. Right? But if I would have had Orochi, I mean, he can go up to level 70 and she can go up to level 72. If I would have leveled these characters up more, they would have been able to do it. However, some people that might watch this video, the Street Fighter collaboration might be gone. This character might be gone, right? So that's going to be one less character that you can unlock an EX skill for. This character here, you probably weren't playing during the Guilty Gear collaboration, so you might not have her as well. And then BS Roach is extremely expensive. So I'm going to throw out another alternative for you guys. So that was my green team. There's the yellow team, my purple team, my blue team, and my red team. These are the teams that I was able to get it done with. Again, the green team is the team that I had the most trouble with, and I actually had to use an alternative team. Now, as far as the alternative team that I use, actually for tier 70, there's actually 2 separate teams that you can use. Now, this is the team that I actually used. But actually in tier 70, guys, you need a yellow balanced team. So if you set up yellow balanced characters, right? If you set up yellow balanced characters for your yellow balanced team, check this out, right? You can use any of these characters, guys. Now, what I used was King and Chrysalid, and I used Luke. Luke at level 20 with 2 level 50 characters could completely solo tier 70 RHD, the final boss. 100%. You don't need to do no cheekiness because they're all balanced type fighters. They're all yellow, and that's the requirements you need for the final boss. And they can absolutely do it. So those of you that get Luke, even if you don't get King, I know he's from the 7 Deadly Sins. Even if you don't have King, guys, you could always use Terry. It really doesn't matter, right? You can always use Terry. You can always use King here. You could always use Angel. I mean, if you don't have, certain characters, you can always replace them with Orochi, Chris, Terry, and then use Luke. Because Luke will be the main damage dealer, especially because he decreases the cooldown of his ultimate move by 5 seconds every time he uses his first skill. He is so good. He is so strong. Guys, I don't even have capsules on this guy. I have no capsules. I had double imprint stones. I was using this set, but you could easily put a Nakane set on him if you don't have the Merlin set, and he will absolutely get it done, guys. Like, I think even an A1 Luke could probably do tier 70. As long as you get 2 other yellow balance type fighters on the team, so that way there's no penalty and you don't get 100% reflected. Just an insane character. Could easily do tier 70. Just nutty. But I want to show you this run, guys, because I definitely found that the green team was having a lot of problems. Even for me, even for a player that does spend a good amount of money in this game, this is the team that I use. Now, you could switch out Soul Bad Guy for Chun-Li. If you wanted to switch them out and use Chun-Li, you could absolutely do that, right? My bad. We want to go to balance here. You could easily use EX Chun-Li. Now, let me explain some things about these characters, guys, as far as using them for the method that I'm about to show you. So something about the method I'm going to show you guys is, and by the way, all these characters can do this. I think Dizzy's really going to be the worst one for what I'm going to show you today. She's a godly character, and on your blue team, she's going to be nutty. But for what I'm going to show you today, I don't think she's going to be the greatest, and I'll explain why. So we'll first start off with Akuma here. So the thing about, I should have just clicked on the other different button, but anyways, the thing with Akuma is, guys, he does have this critical hit shield. And I talked about this in the last video. The critical hit shield works in RHD. And the shield actually prevents you from taking damage while you're being reflected whenever you're doing attacks to the opponents. This is nuts, which means that the characters won't die, okay? They won't die. Now, here's the caveat to this particular shield, right? Remove the shield upon taking 6 critical hits, okay? So here's the thing, guys. There is reflect in the RHD. Whenever you do critical hits, right? Say you do 6 critical hits to the opponents and that gets reflected back at you, that will count as 6 critical hits, as taking 6 critical hits, because that's literally what's happening to you. And you will lose the shield and you will die instantly. And what that means is you need to find ways to not do so many hits so you don't do as many critical hits. If you're not doing a bunch of critical hits, the shield will last that entire 7-second duration, okay? So let me show you like why Akuma is actually so amazing for this, all right? So when it comes to Akuma, guys, you can literally just hit his first skill. Look how many hits the first skill does. 3 hits. It only does 3 hits. Now, something else to remember whenever you're facing RHD is that, say there's 3 opponents and you do that first skill. Well, 3 opponents, 3 times 3 is 9. You'll actually do 9 hits. This is something to keep in mind, but because it doesn't do a lot of hits just instant like when it hits, the chances of you doing 6 critical hits whenever you do this are slim to none. If you do the second skill, that does 5 hits. Now, you can always guard cancel, which means that you can actually hit your skill and cancel in the middle of it. Right? So there I did 3 hits instead of 4, right? Or, I mean, and the third skill, guys, don't use this for Akuma. Look at this. That does 9 hits. The chances of doing 6 critical hits are much higher if you're doing that, especially if you use his leadership that gives an extra 10% critical rate, which is something that you don't want to do in RHD. You do not want to give extra critical rate in their leadership because it means they're going to crit more often. And if they crit more often, they're going to get critical hit reflex more often, and they're probably going to die and make this procedure much more difficult for you. So I highly advise just using his first skill because, one, it has burn explosion. It can apply a 12-second burn dot, and it's just nuts. And just mainly just use that first skill for the most part. Now, when it comes to Ryu, the thing about Ryu that's actually amazing is his first skill actually applies shock to all the enemies on the screen. His first skill does do 5 hits, guys. So, like, again, if you got mobs out there, he can easily get 6 critical hits reflect because he does have a critical hit shield, and he can instantly die. So what you can do is, I can't really show you here, but you can actually face the other direction and hit your first skill so you don't hit your opponent, and then you can hit your second skill. Now, he does 9 hits, but again, just like I showed you a second ago, you can guard cancel, guys. You can hit your second skill, and look at that. Now we only did 4 hits instead of 9, right? As soon as you do a hit your guard, boom, hit your guard, and boom, and you'll still get the explosion, right? So you can literally face the opposite direction of your opponents, do the first skill to apply the shock, and do the second skill and do a guard cancel if you want to. Now, a lot of times I didn't do the guard cancel because, honestly, to do 6 critical hits out of 9 hits, it doesn't really usually happen, but it can happen. Now, let me show you Chun-Li. Now, Chun-Li is good for this, and I was using her for this method. But the thing you're going to notice about Chun-Li is, one, her her chill doesn't apply to all enemies on the screen. That's kind of a difference between her and Ryu. Her chill does not apply. So you actually got to hit the opponents with the chill in order for the explosion to work. And her chill only does 4 hits. That's a good thing, right? So if you do the first skill and you hit, you're going to do 4 hits on one opponent. Remember, again, if you have more opponents, that first skill is going to do a lot more hits. Now, our second skill, look how many hits this thing does. 12 hits, guys. It's way too many. The chances of you doing a bunch of critical hits are very high when you're doing that many hits. And this is kind of a thing about Chun-Li. So what you got to do with her, literally, is hit your first skill and then hit your second skill and guard cancel. Right? And I still did 8 hits, right? You got to be really, really fast with her. She actually requires a much more careful gameplay as far as her shield, right? There's 4 hits, right? So literally, you're going to do, like about 9 hits at a minimum because you got to let the first hit, right? right? 8 hits, right? 8 hits. So she does a lot of hits. It's very risky. And then her third skill does 10 hits in itself. I mean, you can cancel it, but again, guys, I mean, like say you try to do the third skill and you go 3, 2, 1, or I'm sorry, 3, 1, 2. That's 11 hits. It's very, very tricky, guys, with her. And like I found it to be very hard to actually do it with her. And she does have a different type of shield where, it actually starts up whenever you take damage, right? Whenever you take damage when your HP is 70% less, that's when your shield can actually pop up. Now, it's awesome that it's 30 hits instead of 20 hits. So even though she does more hits, this shield's actually better because it's actually 30 hits. But guys, I mean, you really got to be careful with her when you're playing because she can do a lot of hits very quick. And if she does that 30 hits super fast, she'll get reflected 30 times super fast and she can die very, very quickly. So, I mean, you can do this with her, but it's very, very tricky. Now, Sol Badguy, he's actually amazing because, he does Burn Explosion. His first skill is just nutty. Now, his second skill, look at this, 3 hits, right? So if you let the opponents hit you because the shield activates actually when they hit you, it's not like a critical hit shield. It's like Chun-Li's. Whenever you get hit, your shield will activate. So you can literally just let the shield activate, then hit your second skill, right? Or let the shield activate and hit your third skill. And that'll apply a stun, and that only does 3 hits as well, right? Pretty sweet. And if you just use the first skill, even with a fully charged up, right, it does 8 hits. Now, if you got a bunch of mobs in front of you and you do that skill, you'll probably get reflected 20 times because this shield removes after it gets hit 20 times, and he'll probably instantly die. So, I mean, using the first skill and third skill for Sol Badguy is going to be the way to go. A lot of guard canceling with Chun-Li is going to really help you. Ryu, kind of the same thing. And Akuma, really very easy because you're just using your first skill. And Terry, and I'm showing you guys all this because these characters really are just amazing for this method. Terry actually is pretty awesome too because, he actually doesn't do a lot of hits either. So if you do the first skill, 4 hits, guys. Right? You already got the Starlight applied. You can do the second skill. Right? Now, he does 12 hits if you don't guard cancel. So, literally what I would do is I would just go hit the first skill. Right? And this kind of guard cancel. You won't do as many hits. But, yeah, he's just a nutty character. And he's also another one of those characters that you got to let get hit. So, the shield will apply, take effect. And you can start doing damage. Really, really awesome character. Now, Dizzy here, honestly, guys, like she does have a critical hit shield like Akuma and like Ryu, but she does way too many hits. And that's a problem, guys. Like if she can do a lot of critical hits very, very fast, like if you just do the free skill, I mean, that's already 6 hits, guys. And you can't guard cancel that. Once you let that little iceberg fly out, it's done deal, right? And if you try to do the first skill twice and apply burn, right, that's 7 hits. And you can't guard cancel that thing, right? Like if I try to guard cancel this thing, okay, right, I'm trying to guard cancel it, it just doesn't work. You're still going to do 7 hits. And if you let that second skill go, look at that, guys, and you can't guard cancel that either. So you're still getting 7 hits. So it's really, really risky because you want to apply chill and you're going to get 7 hits from that automatically, or burn, right? And then you want to do either the second skill or the third skill. Now, the third skill only does 3 or 5 hits, right? So, I mean, even at, like, if you're just trying to do, like, burn explosion, you could do, like, the first skill twice and then do the third skill. But look at all those hits, guys. 12 hits. Like, she just isn't very good because she's going to get reflected super, super fast. She's going to take a lot of critical hits very fast because she's more than likely, because of all the hits she does, she's probably going to crit more often than any one of these other 5 characters. Even Chun-Li, guys. Like, Chun-Li's actually, in my opinion, better for this than Dizzy because she doesn't do as many hits. She does a lot of hits, but she's got a 30-hit shield. Her shield is different than the critical hit shield. I mean, taking 6 critical hits won't take long for a character like Dizzy. I mean, this is just, 6 critical hits, guys. It's not good. So now that I've explained a little bit about RHD and maybe the teams that you should use in the future, and guys, and again, if you don't have certain characters for RHD, always look for that color that you need that has explosion. If there's a color that you that needs explosion, wait for a collab or wait for a certain banner where a certain color that you need has explosion, and then pull in that banner, hopefully to get that character so you can push higher in RHD in order to get all these max experience bottles. So I'll go ahead and pull up the run for you guys right now and talk a little bit more about what I actually had to do for this. So whenever you're doing this method, guys, you want to have healing strikers because you're going to take damage no matter what, right? See how I hit the first skill and I did it far away? I faced the opposite direction. And then Akuma. Now Akuma, by the way, you don't want to like spam his first skill. Just slow, methodical. Remember, his shield will last 7 seconds. Let myself get hit, do the second skill, and then just run away. And I just keep bringing in my heals as I go. Honestly, guys, Athena, 98 Athena, really, I didn't need her for Soul. Really probably should have used it for me for like Ryu or Akuma, but it's all good. Right? Akuma's awesome because you can just drop in there and just hit your first skill. Like, he's easy. He is easy. Now you don't want to use the skill when that shield's gone. Let myself get hit, hit the second skill or the third skill. Now, see, that was risky what I did there because I actually used the first skill, but I'm making sure that I'm not hitting like 5 characters all at once, because then we do a shit ton of hits and you don't want to do that. Excuse my language, sorry. Kind of slipped out. Got my voice back, you know, I'm really wanting to let them words fly a little bit. And watch this, guys. Like, and now what you're going to do, because there's a cooldown on these shields, you're going to switch between your characters. So I'm going to switch to Saul. I'm going to use my Awakened skill. I'll let myself get hit, right? And as soon as I get hit, that shield's going to apply. Boom. Okay, now I got 7 seconds of shield. You want to do 2 rotations with the first and second skill, and then switch. And then Ryu, you can just go 3, 2, 1, and then 2, 1. There we go, there we go. And you can do 3 rotations with Ryu, and then Akuma, you can do 3 rotations with him, or just spam the first skill. Really, you just want to spam the first skill in all honesty, guys, because it actually has explosion. It's just much better. And you can see the routine and the way that I'm doing this. This is tier 70, guys. This is the final boss of RHD, and I'm using 3 characters that are like level 30. Just insanity. And because it's a single target, I can afford to use the second and third skill from Akuma. Okay, here we go. Let myself get hit. Let's go, let's go. Fully charge up, try to get a little explosion. There we go, there we go. You got to be careful with Ryu's third skill because it does do quite a few hits. But again, against a single target, you can kind of get away with things. And like I said, Akuma is really honestly like just insane for this. Just nutty, guys. So easy to use. And usually I find it easiest to keep him alive more than these other characters. Again, with Saul, guys, you just want to do 2 rotations with him. Don't try to do 3 because the shield will be gone if you do. There we go. Nice. I kind of screwed up there and actually accidentally hit my default. There we go. I'm going to switch. And look at this. Boom. Tier 70. I could have done this with Luke, but I wanted to show you guys a way you could do it with multiple different characters using this method to clear any stage in RHD. Any stage that you want. But again, remember to use healing strikers, guys. Just insanely amazing. I mean, like every day that I'm coming in, I get to collect this, guys. I'm not bragging. I'm just showing you what you can do in the future to get all these experience balls every single day, right? Now, you might be in a place in the game where you're early on. It's not really a big deal, but later down the road, you're going to want to push RHD in order to get the best rewards possible. And guys, honestly, like this dude is just so amazing because he doesn't do a lot of hits. He does the explosion on his first skill. He's just so easy to use. And obviously, all the characters that I talked about today can absolutely do it. If you have those characters, you want to try to do it with them. You could try to do it with Dizzy, guys. I'm not saying she can't do it. It's just because she did so many hits, I mean, the chance of her doing a lot of critical hits is very high. And again, don't use leaderships like Akuma's. Like, use Ryu's leadership that doesn't give an increase of critical rate. That's actually going to help as well. So let me know if this helped any of you out there. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.